Welcome back to Learn Java on Codecademy. We're in the Conditionals and Control Flow section, Generalizations. Great work. Control Flow allows Java programs to execute code blocks depending on Boolean expressions. What did we learn about Control Flow so far? Boolean operators, and both expressions need to be true, or one or the other or both need to be true, and not just takes the result and gives you the opposite. So if it's true, it'll be false. If it's false, it'll be true. And these are used to build Boolean expressions and have a defined order of operations. Statements, if else, and if else statements are used to conditionally execute blocks of code. Ternary Conditional, a shortened version of an if-else statement that returns a value based on the value of a Boolean expression. Those were the ones that had the question mark, and then the left side would be what runs if it was true, the right side would be what runs if it was false, and they had that colon to separate the true and false statements. Switch allows us to check equality of a variable or expression with a value that does not need to be a Boolean. And that's just the switch case, where you give it a bunch of cases and then you start it at the top with switch, and then the value you're going to switch with those cases. Instructions: use the precedence rules to help you evaluate the Boolean expression in the single line comment above the tricky variable. So then set the Boolean variable tricky equal to the result, either true or false. So they just want us to look at this and evaluate in our head what it should return. We see that 3 is greater than 3, which is true, but we see true or true, which should be true, but theirs is not. And it's true and not true, which returns a false because an and statement, both sides need to be true. So since it's false, we just wanted to say false. Let's see if we get this right. Run that. Stuck in the past. I'm not sure where that train goes. 2, change the Boolean expression in the if statement so that your program will print out the code in the else block instead. So our if statement is here. If we were to, so if I flip it this way, the if should evaluate to false, which will never run this code, but it'll go to the else, which will print upgraded to the future. If we run that, we did get upgraded to the future, and I'm not sure where that train goes, which is probably running this down here, but we did pass that one. 3, set the value of the int variable subway train equal to the case that will print this is a Brooklyn bound train to the console. So on this side, this is a Brooklyn bound train. This is a Brooklyn bound train would be case 5. So here we switched 9 to 5. It should print out case 5. If we were to run that, and we did get this is a Brooklyn bound train. So the important thing with this lesson, and pretty much with this whole section that we've been working on, conditionals and control flow, the main things are Boolean operators, and, or, and not, and how we can use them to build Boolean expressions that have a defined order of operations. Then we have the if else, which just gives us decisions to make if one statement is true, if not, run this other code. Ternary Conditional was just a shortened version of if else, and then our switch statement is what we see down here. You do your switch, you give it a value, and then your cases, depending on which value of that case matches your switch statement, it will run that case. If all else fails, there's a default. If all else fails in your if else, there's an else. And that is pretty much it for the conditionals and control flow section of Learn Java. I'll see you guys on the next one.